Hey, I'm Elaine, and it is What's Kenner French Thinking, and we're here today with Kenner French, who is the author of Amazon bestsellers Modern Millions AI, and he has some really great new ideas, kind of bold, kind of crazy, about how to introduce AI into city government in Bainbridge Island, where he resides. And right now, they just had the city manager retire, and so he's proposing that they are going to use an AI enabled city manager. Maybe eventually one day a whole AI city manager, but for right now, just allowing AI to be introduced into the political arena. And so here he is. Kenner, tell us a little bit about this new article that came out in the Bainbridge Island Review, correct? And how it's talking about you and what you're doing and some of the, what is some of the conversation around AI and in Bainbridge Island around being a city manager?
Yeah, well, basically, Blair King, who did a great stint as a city manager for Bainbridge Island, he retired, and at the same time, he was kind of struggling with artificial intelligence. And well, my thought is, well, let's tackle this artificial intelligence and use it to the best ability that we can. And obviously, I'm even putting forth using an AI model to run the city, tongue in cheek. But I think that so many people are missing the boat on artificial intelligence that it can be a huge help, huge benefit to the citizens of Bainbridge Island if we actually use a model proactively, ethically, and morally to help run the city. Because there are so many things that are done that really could be more efficient as it relates to, well, computer work, communication via chatbot. There's so many things that AI can help as long as it's implemented safely and securely, and the list goes on ethically, et cetera. But I'm all excited about this, and I know it's going to end up helping in the long run.
So why now? Why 2026? What makes AI really necessary now? Why not wait a year from now? Or why was it not maybe 2 years ago that this was started? Why now?
Yeah, I don't think 2 years ago would have been right because, by the way, artificial intelligence, it's still young. It would have been really young 2 years ago. But what I would say is it's maybe not maturing, but coming close to maturing, number 1. But number 2, also what I would say is why is right now the good time? Because we're starting to see the benefits of artificial intelligence and what it can do to help people. As an example, we're now seeing that it's, helping cure cancer as an example. It's helping find other medical, devices that are helpful to humanity in general. And then also some other cities are at least starting to use artificial intelligence. And what I would say is, well, let's take it a step further. Let's be Bainbridge Island forward thinking Bainbridge Island. So let's utilize the technology to help us. Oh, I don't know, do some of the city items that need to be taken care of more efficiently. I'll just throw out a couple of things, little small things, a chatbot. Instead of, someone coming in, believe it or not, there are still people who knock on the door, come in, ask questions of city employees. Well, why not just have a chatbot that can answer proactively some of the questions that are being asked of the city? Number one. Number two, something little small, notes that are being taken right now by the city manager, as an example, the secretary, administrative staff. Well, that could be done with AI model. Or as an example, research. A lot of research can be done using artificial intelligence. And those are just small little items. And I'm saying tiptoeing into the water first, and then really tackle the big things. But at first, small, then big.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, I use AI for that same thing. I take a transcript of a meeting that I'm having and I throw it into ChatGPT and it
Hmm.
organizes everything. It gives me the action items. It gives me even if I want to ask it what other things should I suggest. And so throwing that in there, it's going to create something in such a small, I mean, seconds compared to someone, going in and putting it and trying to create some sort of action item to-do list for the city council, for the city in general. And so I think that's a great idea. It's a very practical use. And then you're also thinking about doing something not just inward facing to the city government. In the article, it talked about how you're thinking about maybe even having the public chat GPT where they're asking questions. Is that going to be available just like within like at the city website? Like where is that going to live?
I would say put it on the city website, make it so it's proactively helping people. And, it will help with social media too, meaning the model, whatever model that is devised based on, the input from the city, et cetera, et cetera. But what you could do with artificial intelligence as far as social media is proactively post things that really need to be out there in the public sphere. There's so many people who are saying, well, there's not enough communication from the city, which by the way, sometimes some people would position otherwise. But what I would say is, well, artificial intelligence can help you post proactively based on what's going on in the given day, and it can be automated. Now, that will help when so many people supposedly are saying, "Well, I want to know more about what's going on in the city." Well, there's no better way to get the word out than artificial intelligence. It can be done automatically in so many cases, and it can be done cheaply and efficiently.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm just sitting here thinking about little things that like I do within my own city. Like, where is the youth soccer league going to be held this Saturday? Is there a youth soccer league coming up that I can register my kid for? Where is the movie in the park? I mean,
Yeah.
these are things that on the back end, you're actually creating a knowledge base. So it's not like regular chat GPT. It is a document that you're uploading into your own special GPT for Bainbridge Island, that every single flyer, every single memo, every public city document can be put in there and it's searched. So it's not like they're just searching the web. It is literally everything that the city puts out can be in that
Mhm.
knowledge base. So I love that. So can you kind of like backtrack? You talked about other cities using AI. What are other cities using AI, and how does that differ from what y'all what this is? And then how could you implement some of the things elsewhere in AI, not just with the city manager with
Yeah.
in Bainbridge
Um,
Island?
well, right now I'm proposing the city manager spot just because, there's an opening with Blair King, retiring. But, number 1. But and then number 2, really, some of the other examples, Pittsburgh as an example, the city of Pittsburgh in Pennsylvania, they made more efficient their traffic system as a result of AI. It's a learning system. So it's made traffic more efficient. People are getting to work, to wherever they want to get more efficiently because of artificial intelligence. That's huge. Believe it or not, San Francisco is starting to adopt little components of artificial intelligence. They're going around potholes. It's researching potholes, believe it or not, how to repair potholes and quicker. And believe it or not, that's small, but it's a step in the right direction, even for San Francisco. I mean, and when I say even for San Francisco, because that's a big city. If some of the big cities could implement some of these things like San Francisco and Pittsburgh, so can Bainbridge Island. And what I would say is take it a step further. You know, down the road, think about taking it a step further. If you can make more efficient some of the issues that we are tackling as a city, it will be so much better for the citizens because then what could potentially happen is lower fees, lower costs, happier citizens. Therefore, we can end up being better off because of artificial intelligence, even though there are some of the, issues with some of the concerns with, as an example, what some of the examples, oh, as in, some of the security concerns. We'll tackle that at the same time because there are so many things that can be an advantage based on artificial intelligence. It could figure out how to make it a more secure system, and it could be on its own, basically on its own device, so you don't have to worry about some of the issues with malware attacks, et cetera, et cetera. I went a little offbeat there, but that's just a few of the examples that some of the cities have thrown out, San Francisco and Pittsburgh, and some of the things and directions we can go down the road.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and I love that you talked about some of the skepticism that are surrounding AI
Yeah.
security and all that. And we all know that with any new technology comes risk, but rather be on the front end of it, especially when,
Yeah.
maybe hackers aren't totally adept at figuring out how to hack things, as strongly as the longer AI gets out, they're going to get better and better at it. And so learning how to create those security protocols already now rather than 10 years down the road trying to adopt it and then
Right.
backtrack a lot of the different things because you're not equipped, your office isn't equipped. Going ahead and starting to implement it, I think is a great idea. One of the things that I want the listener to think about because some people don't even know what AI does. Think
Mm.
about you can just take a photo of an intersection, and like 10 or,
Right.
20 photos of an intersection and say, "Hey, we've noticed that there is a increase in fatal accidents here. What's going on? How can we fix this?" I mean, the
Yeah.
possibilities are endless. So, what are some of the other skepticism that you see around AI? And is it just from like an older population, or is there also some skepticism from a younger population?
Yeah, I'm in a Facebook group where, we talk about these issues, and what I've noticed is it's usually, frankly, the older people who might be a little bit more skeptical. They don't wanna adopt something, as advanced as artificial intelligence. It could end the world, so they say, who knows, by the way. But what I would say is, take into account all the negative issues. If you're attacking them responsibly and ethically, that will help lower the concerns. Plus, I don't think people realize, just like you mentioned, some of the things that artificial intelligence can do to help society. It's not just a Googler, if you will. It's not only a chat. That's just, touching the water with your toe. It's so much more you can do. The analysis, the population analysis. You can do an analysis on, teaching optimization, on what's another example? On signals. Everyone's having an issue getting on the ferry. As a matter of fact, you're even on Bainbridge Island talking about traffic. Well, there's ways to optimize that. Artificial intelligence can help to optimize that. Traffic patterns, just like Pittsburgh as an example. City fees can be optimized because the artificial intelligence not only does the analysis now, but it can do it later. And by the way, a lot of these things we're talking about a little bit esoteric, but what I would say is we at vastsolutionsgroup.com, by the way, we do tax finance and artificial intelligence to lower tax liability, all using artificial intelligence, which we've been doing for a long time. And we've seen the positive impact that it's done to help people. So many small business owners, let's say, have a tax liability of X. Let's just say it's, I don't know, $100,000, but with proactive research that artificial intelligence has helped us to lower tax liability, let's just say the tax liability becomes $50,000. Well, that's $50,000 of savings, not only to that business owner, but also maybe that business owner can lower fees to clients. Therefore, clients can end up using those products and services more so than they would have been able to when the fees were higher without using artificial intelligence. So that's just a couple of examples where artificial intelligence helps in so many ways to, who knows, maybe it could help benefit citizens of Bainbridge Island.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and you hit the nail on the head in the sense that it also anytime that we can reduce, like, workload, we're also reducing hours,
Yeah.
which means we're also saving the city money, which then lowers taxes. It has all sorts of positive benefits there. And I know that there's, in the article it talked about, potential job loss, but for me, I see AI as a complete revolutionizing fact of the way we deal with the internet. And that, yes, maybe in the interim it'll delete some of the jobs that are overtaken, but it will create more jobs because we're going to have a place where there's going to be new things that we didn't even realize that were needed because we were so busy doing the paperwork and all the mundane stuff. So it really allows that creativity to flow and everything like that. So, and I love that you talked about Vast Solutions. So you do have an ebook or a downloadable ebook on your website at modernmillions.ai, and you can get the book as well on Amazon. And so definitely want to just give you a shout out for that. But you are also going to be showing up for a meeting January
Mm,
28th coming up soon
yeah.
to gather input. What kind of reactions are you expecting? What are you going to be talking about? What are you hoping for?
Yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting. Yeah, January 28th at our office here at vastsolutionsgroup.com, which is on the island 755 Winslow Way East, Suite 101. Yeah, I'm excited to see what's going to happen because, I think it's going to be a real lively discussion where some people are going to be advocates of artificial intelligence. Yeah, it potentially is going to help cure cancer or whatever. It's going to help a lot of people. At the same time, we're going to have some people who are like, artificial intelligence, it's not going to help me. It's too, it's this newfangled technology. It's going to be a lively discussion. I'm really excited to see what happens. Yeah, it's going to be hard to guess, but I do know that the end result is it's going to be a lively discussion. Hopefully, some good's going to come out of it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and I think, I would challenge any Bainbridge Island resident that has questions to reach out and ask you questions, not only at the meeting, but personally. Wouldn't mind even seeing some of these people, y'all hash it out on the podcast and talk about it because,
Yeah.
we have to address the elephant in the room. People want to know why. And the reason why a lot of times they don't adopt new technology is because they're scared. And if we can eliminate and eradicate all those fears, then we can move forward as a community rather than just feeling railroaded by people that are trying to adopt early technology. And so, I love that you're going out there in the community and you're engaging the community in a conversation because I think that's the first step to truly embracing AI. So I just want to say thank you so much, Kenner, for joining me on the podcast, and we will talk to you next week about all things Bainbridge Island and AI.
Bye, guys. Thank you.